I'm actually more concerned about as they begin to lift off to the north, up towards Stafford, Quantico, Nanjemoy, and Dale City. If you were with us earlier, we showed you the tornado index, threat index, and it actually had an enhanced area down here. And the models did not do a particularly good job of building storms south of town. Well, there they are. So that's certainly a decent storm. So where to go in a tornado? Well, I mean, of course, the number one thing to go is to go into a basement. Okay, if you have a basement, go into the basement. That's your best bet. But if you can't, you want to cover yourself with a mattress. Go in an interior room, hall or a bathroom. But the key is you want to be away from windows. That is just the key. Now here is Futurecast, and again, it's not doing the greatest job here. This is 1 o'clock in the morning. Well, now it does have the storms down to the south, so I like that. That's at 1 o'clock. Pretty big storms still around Leesburg, kind of up north between Hagerstown and Frederick. And we talk about 2 o'clock, still some pretty good storms kind of inching over toward Prince George's County and also near Frederick and Hagerstown. Once you get to 2 o'clock, though, and you're south of Gaithersburg, you're in pretty good shape. And then tomorrow morning, we're just left with run-of-the-mill showers. And notice the winds are now out of the west, or at least west-southwest. Right now, they're screaming out of the south-southeast. Temperature is still 50s to around 60s, so most of us will be dry at the bus stop tomorrow, but it'll be windy. Another batch of showers tries to develop mid-morning, essentially southern Maryland, east of I-95. And then, yeah, we get a little sun, and by 1 o'clock, we run the risk of a couple of sprinkles. But for the most part, the headline tomorrow is simply wind. Tomorrow night, we're dry, but we are windy. There's that tornado threat index. You might have just seen that go by. It's yellow here at about 12:30. Now at 1:30, it's just light. It's low, rather, okay? And this is just one factor we look at, but it's still across much of Prince George's County into the Delmarva, and then by 3 o'clock, it's pretty much gone. So I'd say certainly another 35, 40 minutes for the immediate metro area for the threat, but I'm still a little more concerned about southern Maryland. We'll talk about the winds, and we'll circle back to radar. So, again, winds tomorrow, 25 to 30 miles per hour by morning, around 30 miles per hour by evening. Not as bad tomorrow night, but still 20, 25. Then they really ramp up again on Saturday. Winds gusting over 30 miles an hour. And look at this. By 1:30 on Saturday, winds gusting almost to 40 in Frederick, 40 mile per hour wind gust in Leesburg. Even with temps in the 60s, that's going to make it feel a little bit on the cool side. All right, so here's our tornado watch until 1 o'clock in the morning, and we'll zoom in. And there is the tornado warning for Berkeley County, and the yellow here is the severe thunderstorm warning for our friends down to the south, including Fredericksburg. Here's the radar past couple of hours, and these are the storms I'm really concerned about. Not necessarily for tornadic activity, but for strong winds, 50 to 60 miles per hour, and brief heavy downpours. This is the storm here that has prompted the tornado warning up to the north, just to the north of Winchester. And you can see the storm's moving, again, almost due north, maybe a little tilt to the east, but not much. All right, so here's a tornado warning until 12:45 at Berkeley County. It's 12:36 now, so we're going to stay on at least until 12:45 or until they cancel this warning. I'm going to watch those storms to the south. We may have to come back if those storms get into southern Maryland and have any rotation. So there's where the warning is in Berkeley County until 12:45. We can zoom in and talk about some of the areas that are we're kind of concerned about. It's a pretty small little area, but if you're north up towards 70, I think that's what you really have to watch for. Between, north of Hedgesville, which is getting hammered right now with pretty good rain, but north of this as it goes toward Clear Spring and up across the border. So if we had any kind of rotation, I think it would be back in this area, but even that, I'm not picking that up on my app. I'm just picking up straight line winds of anywhere from 20 to 40 miles an hour around Route 9. But if you're in this area, go ahead and take cover. If you know someone, Beddington or Hedgesville, take cover. Or call someone and say, hey, you're under a warning. It goes till 12:45. I'm going to zoom back out, and we'll kind of track it for you as to where it's going to go. And it's going to go essentially off to the northeast at about 40 miles an hour. So there's 70. And there's 81. So this is on the west side of I-81. It's going to cross over 70 in the not too distant future. Let me zoom out just a little bit more here. Okay, so there we go. So there it is. I'll track it for you. Again, it's even if it's not tornadic, it's going to be a pretty good storm. And I think it's moving more north than northeast. I'm going to track it like that, okay? So there's your Clear Spring at 12:44, so like 6 minutes from now. Wilson, 12:48, that makes sense. And then all the way to Mercersburg at 1 o'clock. I don't see any reason why this storm won't hold together. It may not be tornadic that long, but it will certainly hold together over the course of the next 45 minutes to an hour. It's a pretty robust storm. It really is. So again, this is the tornado warning, and that goes until 12:45 in the morning. So another 6 minutes or so for that one. And again, we're still tracking the storms to the south of us, and I'm very concerned about these storms too, down toward Fredericksburg. These are where the warnings are right now, and we can zoom in here and show you that there could be some rotation in here, but I'm not picking that up at the moment. Boom. So there we go. So these are our severe thunderstorm warnings for much of Fredericksburg, Spotsylvania County, and down toward Ladysmith. And so there's a chance, that some of these could have rotation. I think they're going to have 50-mile-per-hour winds. Don't see any hail. I didn't see any shear with these either. I queried that before we went on the air. In terms of rainfall rates, 1.5, so an inch and a half per hour. Again, the good news is they're moving 40 to 50, but that can still do, some minor flooding. This probably will not query, but let's just see what it says here. Severe thunderstorm warning, good. Okay, so there's no, in that one now it's not saying possible tornado. So that is good. Let's make sure that's across the board. Yes, okay. And this down toward Ladysmith, okay, this one still has the possible tornado in it. So we'll watch that as it begins to move off to the northeast. So if you're in La Plata, Waldorf, even Dahlgren, but certainly Port Royal, you're going to have a pretty good storm tonight. Will it be tornadic? Probably. Well, it could be. It could be. I think we're just looking at straight line winds and some pretty heavy downpours. That's what I'm concerned about. We'll zoom back out. And, in town, it's kind of quiet, quite frankly. Here in Northwest, it's very quiet. Been a couple of sprinkles up near Frederick, but this is the growing activity. This radar just updated literally seconds ago. Did you see it jump? So these storms come out of Spotsylvania County and up 95 will need to be watched. I'll be very interested to see if they continue this tornado warning. I don't think they will. I'm kind of surprised they haven't canceled that, but again, tornado warning for Berkeley County until 12:45. And these storms are still, they're hefty out toward Warrenton and Culpeper. They're not severe, but they're hefty. But again, nothing really popping up in the metro. A little storm just popped up last 5 minutes on the west side of 270, not far from Poolsville. But that is the warning area. So we'll zoom into that. Again, this is Berkeley County. I won't zoom in quite as close there. Okay, so there you go. So this little area, Martinsburg, west side of I-81, that is where the tornado warning is. And it still is in effect, so maybe they'll just let it expire here in about 3 minutes. What's that? They're going to let it expire. Okay, that's good. So they're not going to extend it. That's good news. So it's going to expire here in about 3 minutes. But that said, if you are north of this, it's still a pretty heavy storm. It's raining pretty hard in Clear Spring right now. We can go outside the warning box and get the query of the rainfall rates. So boom, what do we have? So 1.4 inches, that's pretty heavy rain. 1.5 inches per hour is heavy. Again, the good news is it's moving fast. They're not training and moving slowly, but it's a pretty long thunderstorm. So it could rain another half an hour or 3/4 of an hour around Clear Springs. You could pick up an inch before this is all over. But that's where the tornado warning is. Martinsburg North, Hedgesville, you're technically in the warning as well. Hagerstown, you're not. This big storm right now is going to stay to your west. You have some light activity. And again, the green is the light, and when you see the colors, the red, that's the real bad stuff. Orange and yellow, not exactly great stuff. So that's on our little list right there, on our little legend. Let me go back to home. And kind of reset. So now we've got, again, these storms, they're building, okay? And you don't say that too often at 12:43 in the morning because normally they're dying at this time of night. But as I mentioned earlier, at 11 o'clock, there's some pretty good dynamics. Not the normal dynamics you see in summer, but dynamics aloft, like a 110-knot jet stream, and fronts bisecting and moving north. And it was fairly warm today, and a screaming southerly wind from the south at the surface. So we had some ingredients, to produce severe weather, but it's not your normal, run-of-the-mill, oh, it gets hot, it's humid, ground heats up, and we get storms. That's not the case tonight. These are fueled by really other more upper-level ingredients. So I'm going to go down to this storm again because this is kind of worrying me. Let's just go down here a little bit. Pretty big storm. Now, to me, it's weakened a tiny bit. We see less red. That's good. Don't see any lightning. I think I have lightning turned on here. Don't see any lightning. And lightning always is an indicator. If you see increasing lightning strikes, been in some seminars, that means the storm is increasing in intensity, or at least maintaining intensity. There's a good correlation between strong storms and frequent lightning. Don't see any lightning on this. But, okay, that just updated. So did you see that? So it's still heavy rain west of Stafford and running right through Fredericksburg. You've got some pretty heavy downpours right now, and it's going to cross over to Quantico and Nanjemoy. Let's see if it has any, possible tornadoes. It'll pop up in here. Okay, none there. Down there. Okay, that's okay. That's good. If you could go down here, there. Possible tornado. Okay, so that's south of Port Royal. So this is a ways below our viewing area, which is like King George and Westmoreland, and of course Spotsylvania. Okay, good. So that's gone. Okay, that's good. So now the severe thunderstorm warning is over. Shall we just check, Chris? I assume it is also over here. It is. Looks like it's gone. Yep, it's gone. So, good news. So we have no severe thunderstorm warnings. We have no tornado warnings. We still do have, though, the tornado watch, and that's in effect until 1 o'clock. So I'll reset quickly, and there's where the radar is. These are the storms to the south. These are heavy, but they're not as severe as they were. But you're going to hear the rumble of thunder for a while. And if you're like, in Fairfax or Reston or even Leesburg or even Potomac, Rockville, these are going to work their way northward, but it's going to take a couple hours to get there. They're moving pretty slowly at this hour. So, again, we do have the watch to the north of us, to the south of us, rather. There's the radar past couple of hours. And if you look carefully, you can sort of see these weakening just a little bit, although I'll keep my eye on those for a little bit. And then we'll kind of widen back out. There's the big picture. The front's still to our west, and there's the tornado watch until 1 o'clock. Take my word for it. For some reason, counties aren't showing up, but that is in Culpeper and Spotsylvania County. So for now, I will say goodnight to you, or take you back to Colbert. And if anything pops, tornado watch warning, there you go. Tornado warning wise, we will come back on the air. But for now, I'm Meteorologist Topper Shutt.